And so I wrote these scripts. I had this storyline. I had these 3 videos, these ideas, and I put it in there. And, I argued back and forth with it for probably 20 different messages saying like, okay, what about this? What about this? And then half the time, the suggestions they're making is just like taking out my heart and writing something that's precise, I guess, or, whatever. And I'm like, wait a minute, you actually missed the point of what I'm trying to say, and you changed what I'm communicating by changing this one word. Like now it communicates a different message. So I would say the hermeneutics that AI has is not strong. I wrote a book and I put that book into ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini. I dropped all the files for the book and I was like, give me a rating on this book, or just like kind of break down it's like the first draft. Break this down and like communicate to me where the weak spots in my writing are, the grammatical, like edit it almost. And it didn't understand the concept that I was communicating. Like it just could not understand it. I'm mixed. I think it's making people dumber, and it's creating a lot of slop, especially on social media, where the whole goal is to get as much attention as possible without you realizing it. But when it comes to filmmaking, like I said, there's the distinction is that you sit down to watch a film intentionally. I think it can really be utilized to allow people to create something that they wouldn't have the resources to create on their own, I guess. And so your question about, well, what does it matter if I use an Arri or a Blackmagic camera? I think it's the same kind of camp when it comes to the AI question. It's like I'm creating a piece of cinema. I'm trying to tell a story that if you sit down to watch it, you're like intentionally sitting down to listen to the story. So to me, it's like they're trying to communicate something and using AI as a tool versus trying to fake something to get your attention, I guess. Yeah. There's 2 different use cases of it. And that's also what people do with film. They'll put film overlays on something because they fake it because they want to get your attention, not because they really care about film overlays, if that makes sense. Like, I love how film looks. I have that's why I take these cameras. I love the natural look of it. And I don't do photography on film because I want you to think it's cool because of the aesthetic. Like, I like the aesthetic. Mm-hmm. And if I do storytelling through film photos, that's just how I'm doing storytelling, I guess. So it's just a matter of, what's the intent behind the story and what's the intent from the watcher. And if the intent is that social media where I don't want you to realize that I'm trying to tell you a story, I think then it's so easy to fall into any use of tools. Even like I would call it unethical to hire Indians for $5 a day to like just pump out essentially like spam content just so you can have 1,000 posts on Instagram in 3 months or whatever. Like, that's, it's not entirely unethical. You're giving somebody a job or whatever, but it's you're creating slop. Like, it's like useless attention. It's like dead internet theory attention.
Elaborate on dead internet theory.
Where the people creating content, the people consuming content, it's like you got bots that are creating content, or basically like non-entities that are they're just putting stuff together for the purpose of having it out on the internet so that somebody else can see it. Like, it's like dead. It's like there's not an actual person behind it, I guess. Not that a person didn't create it or work on it, but the whole goal is just to steal attention.
I remember my first time going on the internet. It was when my older sister showed me this video, these animations of this polar bear, like trying to climb a mountain or going on a treadmill and just getting hurt. And it was so funny. Mm. And like funny videos like that, I just like, you fall in love with that. But then, you know, right now, the internet just feels, like you said, it feels dead. It's like, like if I go on social media now, and I don't much anymore, but I don't know if it's because of how busy I've gotten, and I'm noticing I don't have the bandwidth to waste time on something that's not moving the ball forward, which is new to me, like having something really pressing me this much. I don't know if it's that or if it's the internet that it's really, really changing lately, but it feels like there's so many videos on there. I'm like, oh, wow. Oh, wait, it's AI, or, and it's really frustrating because like when you're doing, like I'm putting out YouTube videos or something for my podcast or whatever, it's, I'm just putting it out there. I wonder how much of what I'm putting out there is actually just getting lost in this noise, because everything's just, I can't outproduce some of the slop that gets made.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, plus, I do interviews or make films based on what changes me, which doesn't necessarily speak to everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's you get lost in the algorithm. You don't even get, the algorithm doesn't even find you. Which is like, if you're literally like, if everything you're hoping for is based on either the YouTube algorithm or some algorithm or some industry person to see you, like success counts on that. Like I think today are we in a better place like as filmmakers to be successful at what we do? They used to have filmmakers who were, very far and few. There was a few filmmakers, a handful of them, who were able to make a living doing what they loved.
Yeah.
And now it feels like I wonder, is it just the illusion of you can do it now just because you have the access to the cameras, and the ability to tell stories? You still need to tell a story that people want to see, or moves people, or makes, well, now there's it has to make a difference based on whose criteria of what difference, because one person will say, you can't really you can't change anything in your life without Christ, and that another person will say, well, we're trying to knock down some political regime or whatever. Is that, it's like, it's all based on the person's perspective.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Not to get political, we're not going there. Right. But like, yeah, it's a weird place.
Yeah.
It's a weird Wild West place that the internet is now. It was, I can't complain. I use AI for like, I'll send the transcript for the podcast to the AI.
Yeah.
And I'll tell it, hey, I want you to find the hook. I want you to put in the beginning. I want you to find a few options for that. I want you to find several YouTube clips and find the hooks for within those to put at the beginning. Mm-hmm. And then look for like a crap load of reels that I can, or shorts that I can put together.
Yeah.
And
it's easy. I mean, it's a couple clicks, and then it saves you from, the time of having to go through footage. I have been trying to find something that runs native in DaVinci Resolve that can just, kind of chop up. They have like a transcript to edit sort of setup, but it doesn't really work that well. But like when I have a scripted video, there's not a lot of AI tools that can automatically cut a bunch of the muck. Yeah. So having to do the manual work, even though I know which parts I want to keep in and which parts I want to cut, like like to me, that's not the creative part when I have a scripted video. The creative part is everything that I do to the video once the script is all put together, I guess. And the script is also part of the creative part. So it's like, yeah, if I had a tool that cut out that 4 hours of work for me, that would be nice. And I don't think it takes away from the creativity itself, I guess. But there are some people that do. Like, I was reading today. Have you heard of clipping? Are you familiar with clipping?
No.
It's an entire industry taking something, for example, like Twitch streamers. You take their videos and you just clip the most viral moments, post it yourself on one of your own pages, and then you submit that post to kind of a pool. And then if your post gets 1,000 views, you might get $3 paid to you for 1,000 views. And then, you get 1 million views, you get $300 or whatever. 3,000, I don't know however much it is. So these people are getting paid to basically clip other people's content. It's like there's a guy named Neon. He's a Twitch streamer. He makes a ton. He's one of the biggest streamers, and he just pays tons of people to put out tons of content for him that's as viral as possible. And so he's paying he pays millions of dollars probably each year to do it. And so that is like, it's, some people are like, yeah, just take the stream, put it into Opus Clip, and then throw those clips out there. They're going to get views. You're going to get some money. And then other people are like, no, clipping requires a human touch. Like, if you want to make an actually good video, it requires a human touch. And so I see both sides of it, where I'd appreciate cutting out all the muck that I don't want to have to spend time in watching to cut out. But at the same time, there is a human touch that is going to make a video good. There's a formula, but at the end of the day, like, everything that is the most viral goes a little bit outside of that formula, I guess. I don't know. It's just a little bit different, if that makes sense.
Do you feel like when it comes to writing, like people, I've heard writers mention like they start to use AI for writing, and do you like? I've heard some writers say, well, I like to keep the faculty of the first draft. Like, I'll keep my faculty by writing the first draft, but I'll use it for editing purposes. I feel like when it comes to using AI, you're feeding it all of your work, your ideas, and then you no longer own it. Because you're giving it to, especially if you're an author or a screenwriter writing something before it's published. That, and also, you're changing the way that you think by using it. Yeah. I don't know. Have you used AI in some capacity with writing?
I would say yes. But to be honest, I've had bad experience with it. For example, like writing social media videos. Like, I wrote these 3 scripts about house music because I love house music and I think it's a great genre and I want to promote it, I guess. And some of my friends make house music, so, maybe promote them too. And so I wrote these scripts. I had this storyline. I had these 3 videos, these ideas, and I put it in there. And, I argued back and forth with it for probably 20 different messages saying like, okay, what about this? What about this? And then half the time, the suggestions they're making is just like taking out my heart and writing something that's precise, I guess, or, whatever. And I'm like, wait a minute, you actually missed the point of what I'm trying to say. And you changed what I'm communicating by changing this one word. Like, now it communicates a different message. So I would say the hermeneutics that AI has is not strong. I wrote a book and I put that book into ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini. I dropped all the files for the book and I was like, give me a rating on this book, or just like kind of break down it's like the first draft. Break this down and like communicate to me where the weak spots in my writing are, the grammatical, like edit it almost. And it didn't understand the concept that I was communicating. Like it just could not understand it. Like, there was one part that it's like, I'm communicating one specific message here, and then I'm communicating a completely different message that I'm going to tie together at the end. And then the AI is like, this message and this message contradict. This is a bad book. And I'm like, wait, you don't get what's going on, because they're not supposed to be the same thing. And so I just noticed that, especially for writing, like you could probably get some good hooks and stuff out of it. Like there's formulas that you can follow, but it doesn't beat the human heart, I guess. And that's the thing. It's like you can use it, and it's the same thing with video editing. You can use it to create a structure for yourself, and you can use it to educate you. But when it comes to the actual art of it, the human touch is what makes it art. If that makes sense. Like, yeah, chop out all the dead space and put the script together in order, even if I didn't record it in order. And then I'm going to go in and add J-cuts. I'm going to go in and add zooms, add pullouts, because I know where I want to add those for the sake of my creation. Because I already created the script. That's mine. The AI puts it together, and then I add my touch on top. So I don't know. It's like there's a balance to it, but you can't. I don't think you should use it to write for you. I think you should be educated by it, and sometimes be criticized by it. Like, it's made it on my like real scripts or YouTube video scripts. It's made good corrections at times, but I'd say more often than not, it's just removing all meaning that I'm communicating and taking a more formulaic approach, or just it's like, well, you want to lessen the amount of time that you say this sentence, because you take a long time to say a sentence, people are going to stop listening. But it's like, what kind of sentence am I saying that takes a long time to say? Because if you just shorten that sentence, now you're saying a different sentence. Like, it's like, what I'm trying to communicate requires this, because the message, it goes beyond just these 5 words.